Every business wants good customer reviews. Every customer wants a good experience. So what happens when both sides click? Or in some cases, when they don't? From Yelp and Entrepreneur Media, this is Behind the Review.
Behind the review, dig deeper too. Behind the review, get all the news. Food, flowers, fixing, make business boom. Behind the review, dig deeper too.
I'm Emily Washkovic, Yelp's small business expert. Behind the Review shares a story featuring a business and someone who wrote their Yelp review. I sit down with the owner or a business representative and learn about how they make those consumer experiences happen. This week, we're excited to feature Sheraton Grand at Wild Horse Pass, a resort in Arizona that prioritizes customer service in everything they do. Let's see what's behind this week's review.
I'm a Yelpaholic, and I came across the Sheraton Wild Horse Pass looking for a family adventure for my daughter's birthday, something that was kid-friendly. Our girl's like around 5 and had turned 7. We've been meaning to get out to Chandler. We don't get out that far very often, so I thought, why not? And that's what drew us in. Just researched a lot. We're trying to do staycations and vacations, and I realized a lot of people do have problems with third-party booking, so I always like to go directly through the website. That way I don't have any surprises, especially going long distance or for a special occasion. And it went so much to me when I went to the directly on the website and booked that I made an error and they just fixed it.
That's Jessica S. telling us how she found Sheraton Grand at Wild Horse Pass, a beautiful resort located just outside Chandler, Arizona. Sheraton Grand is one of the Marriott hotel brands. Like many Marriotts, it's owned by an independent property management company, but it still needs to serve and train with Marriott brand standards and provide the required Marriott amenities. I actually used to be a front office manager at a Marriott in Madison, Wisconsin, from 2013 to the end of 2014 when I joined Yelp, so I can totally relate to the Marriott hotel culture. Sheraton Grand at Wild Horse Pass really takes it up a notch. They don't just do standard Marriott check-ins or have brand amenities like an on-site restaurant. They have a spa, an extensive conference area, and a small water park section of their pool. There's something for everyone. Let's hear about Jessica's experience through her review.
Had an awesome overall experience. I made a reservation here for one of our daughter's birthdays for the incorrect date. I dreaded calling to request a change a few days later after reading my email confirmation. They didn't hesitate to change it. There was no fee and no issues. I was so thankful. Mind you, I had booked directly from their website. They have their annual fireworks show on the 1st of July, which is the same day as one of our daughter's birthday. That is why I chose to book here. We love to drive out away from the local hustle and bustle where you can enjoy quiet nature and the beauty of the Arizona desert. Yet, we're still close to shopping activities and additional dining options. We booked a top floor mountain view room, which allowed us to enjoy the sunset, golf course, and the fireworks show right from our patio. It was so close, we felt like it was there just for us. No crowds. It was just as good as our local city fireworks this year, maybe even a bit better. Over a 15-minute show. Awesome. Service was top-notch from reservations, valet, spa, and room service. Karen in service really stood out in a positive way. Do they ever let her sleep? Haha. Meals in the room are delicious and a bargain. There's a nice bar and Starbucks in the main lobby ground floor. They even had live entertainment, and it was great. They have several eateries, Kai, which is seasonal, Hanyo's Pool Bar, Silva Grill, and the Golf Club. So the pool area consists of 2 shallow 3-foot deep pools and 1 14-foot. They were okay. They also had 2 spas. There is even a water slide with a pool of its own, though the younger ones weren't quite ready for it yet. There is a Hanyo's Pool Bar, which had yummy food and cocktails. They mix great and potent drinks. It was hard to get service and wasn't really busy. It could use more staff. We would have ordered more if it wasn't such a hassle. You can go horseback riding during cooler months, and they even have a boat, river, paddle boarding, and kayak rentals. The water was super green, and we kept so busy with everything else during our stay we passed. Not to mention, it was hot. They had balloons being blown up for the kids for a couple of hours a day, movie night at the pool, watching them make their artisan bread, good exercising, walking, and with the gym available, I wouldn't mind coming back, maybe just with the hubby.
What a great review. Jessica shared some of the highlights of her trip and even included some amazing pictures and videos of the fireworks show they saw. I sat down with Bill Hunter, the Director of Sales and Marketing at Sheraton Grand, to hear more about the business.
We're a property based on the Gila River Indian community. It's 500 rooms and just a phenomenal resort that really tries to represent the culture of our owners and deliver on the promise of great service. We are a large resort with 500 rooms spread out, so we're only 4 floors high, so we're spread pretty wide. So that causes a lot of walking for associates, but it's a beautiful resort. We have 2 golf courses, so 36 holes of golf on our property. We have a full spa that's a 5-star spa. And then we have our 5-star restaurant in Kai. So we really are proud about those 2 bookends of having 2 5-star amenities for our guests.
There are definitely challenges with running such a large resort that has a range of customers, all attracted to different things you have on site. Yet Bill and the team take pride in the fact that the resort can be so multidimensional for their guests. And he also recognizes that since their property can provide different experiences for guests, they can market the business to customers using those different on-property amenities. You could think of them like menu items or service offerings.
Our main business is actually convention resort business. So over 60, almost 65% of our guests that stay here are here for a convention or a meeting of some sort. So that's a big component of it. But then you also have a mix of other people who stay here. So you have your family traveler who's here with their kids. You have couples for romantic weekends. And then you also have people, maybe a group of guys that are coming to go play golf, for example. So really you have a lot of different groups. We can service all those different groups of people. All the amenities really allow for that. And so the romantic getaways are really a big thing that we go after by having that 5-star 5-diamond restaurant in Kai that's very exclusive. And then you have the spa, whether it's couples massages or a ladies' weekend, for example, is huge at the spa where you can spend the entire day getting lots of different treatments and services in a really relaxing, serene environment. And then obviously you wouldn't be at a resort in Arizona if it wasn't about water and pools, which are always a big hit. So having the water slide for the kids and the pools and just the activity going on around a pool. So there's really a little bit of something for anybody and everyone.
Wild Horse Pass serves lots of different guests, coming to them with different needs. And in the hotel and event business in general, there are a lot of personalized and custom requests. I asked Bill how his team navigates that part of their customer interactions, because I think it can be a great learning for entrepreneurs in any industry.
Listening to your customers and having an open mind, right? That they have ideas, and it's very easy when you get into this day-to-day routine to want to say no, because it's a human nature that you're trying to survive. And today's just a Tuesday to you, but to the customer, this is a big deal. These events, for example, if we're using banquets as an example, it's a big deal. They're spending a ton of money to bring their team together for, maybe it's a celebration for a great year of sales or whatever. So while it may just be a Tuesday to us, it's a huge celebration and event to them. So having that mindset, first off, knowing that it's a big deal to your customer, and then listening to them and trying to not have no be your first thing, right? And so what you have to do is think, okay, maybe we can't do something a certain way, but here's what we can do. And you start brainstorming with the customer. We know the property and we know our limitations, for example, on staffing. But together we can come up with solutions that may even be better than what the customer originally thought, because you take their idea with your expertise and you marry them together and you can do some phenomenal things. But it starts with listening and really trying to understand what they're trying to accomplish and then using your experience to help guide them.
It's clear that Bill and his team care about making sure their customers are heard and valued, and that continues beyond the pre planning or event stage. They want to hear feedback from their customers after their experience at the business. For brands like Marriott, this has been in practice long before Yelp started in 2004. Asking customers for feedback is a part of their hospitality DNA. They even have a brand survey that gets automatically sent to random populations of guests. So being open to what your customers have to say is nothing new. But that doesn't mean it's always easy. It's just better to address it and grow than ignore it and continue on unaware.
There are a ton of platforms that we get lots of comments and areas of opportunities in them. Um, and so you have your Marriott review sites, and then you also have Yelp and all of these other ones. And so we have a third party service that helps us with some of the reviews, but also internally, we look at them on a daily basis. We send out all the comments. We encapsulate them into a document on a daily basis and send them out so our associates can read them. And the associates that don't have email, they get them reviewed with them in their daily lineup meetings. And so that's how important we take reviews and ratings. At the end of the day, if the review comes across as somebody just having a cranky bad day, it may not hold as much weight for us as if we're like, wait a second, this person really is giving you thoughtful feedback and there's something here. We really need to dig into this and see where we can improve. And so Marriott has its own intent to recommend, which is a really big number that we focus on, is that intent to recommend through the Marriott surveys that are direct. So, a percentage of guests that stay here get those random surveys. So you're looking at the scores. The scores are important. And then the critique is important. And really, we try to look for common threads and trends, because how we see the property as associates versus how a guest sees the property don't always align. Sometimes you miss something, right? When you work here every single day and you see it as, you just get comfortable. It's just like in your own house, you get comfortable and you see things, but a guest may have a perspective that was an aha moment for you, or an area of opportunity that we can look at. Sometimes you miss the boat and a guest has a bad experience, and we want to recognize that, and we'll reach out to those guests and we try to connect with them personally and see what we can do to right the ship, or at least acknowledge them. And in a lot of cases, people just want to be heard and want to be acknowledged. And so we feel like that can be enough at times, is just acknowledge them. At times it could be something worth that we need to invite that guest back and prove that, hey, that you had a one-off experience. And I will tell you, though, the vast majority of the comments we get are positive, which are also great. And then you have, the ones in between, and these are the ones that personally resonate with me, are the ones that have positives and then also may have an area of opportunity in there. Because now it's not just somebody who's having a bad day, for example, right? It's they're taking them time to say, hey, you did these 10 things great. Let me give you the feedback on this one thing. And that holds a lot of weight. If somebody takes the time to tell you, hey, you're doing this well, but here's an area that maybe you missed on, that speaks to me personally quite a bit. And really, we try to focus on that as a team. And the truth is, you're never going to be perfect. You can strive for perfection. You can strive to make the resort great and every associate have a perfect day and connect with everyone. But there are going to be times where you fall short on that promise, and that's where we try to fix it to the best of our abilities. We certainly value all the feedback that we get and work to see what we can do to continue doing the good and fix where we have the areas of opportunities.
It's not about being perfect. It's just about responding and reacting when customers let you know their expectations haven't been met. And sometimes it's an easy adjustment, but sometimes it might be a little more work. And it's important to know that as a customer, Sharing critical feedback can sometimes be better delivered when it's surrounded by positive things as well. Jessica has a trick for that.
Well, I always try and be positive and don't pick all the little things because nothing's perfect. I say that because most of the places that you go to like this, they'll send you a questionnaire and you can speak about anything you want to share. So I like to save that for at that point. I'm a warm and fuzzy person. I love warm and fuzzy environment. I like feeling welcome. I like the yes factor, but I don't expect any special treatment, not VIP or nothing. I just want to have a nice time with my family and feel appreciated because I appreciate them. That's what makes me want to write when something is so positive. It makes me feel good and I want to share it with everybody because, it's nice to have that.
We're going to take a quick break. Be right back.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Jeff Fenster, and I believe experience is the most overrated prerequisite for being successful. After starting over a dozen companies, all in wildly different industries that have generated hundreds of millions of dollars, I've learned that while there are many paths to success, the formula stays about the same. Join me every Monday as I decode this formula to success with athletes like Drew Brees, entrepreneurs like Dan Fleischman, philanthropists like David Meltzer, marketers like Neil Patel, plus real estate moguls, industry influencers, A-list entertainers, or even the occasional animal whisperer like the real Tarzan. So if you want to hear what all these people have in common, then hit subscribe. Get ready to take some life-changing action and let me be the first to welcome you to the Jeff Fenster Show.
Bill and the incredible team behind Sheraton Grand Wild Horse Pass work hard to come together to deliver the best customer service experience, both by internalizing feedback and constantly trying to improve the quality of their service, as well as having an all-hands-on-deck team dynamic where everyone's willing to help out where they can. The team at Sheraton Grand leaves a long-lasting impression on their guests, and it really shows that they care.
I would say it starts with our general manager. I've been in the industry for a little over 30 years, and I can tell you, best general manager in the business I work for, and he has been here for almost 20 years. And so he came on a temporary assignment and the owners fell in love with him, and he was at a much higher end luxury property at the time, and he's like, no, I've reached my pinnacle at this other property. But through some strong army tactics, our owners were able to convince him to stay. And so what turned out to be a 2-week temporary assignment to babysit the property, he's been here for 20 years. But I share that to tell you, he knows every associate. He knows their first names, their last names. He knows things personally about them. And when it starts at the top like that, and it trickles down through our entire executive committee, to our department heads, to our line level managers, to all the different associates. The hospitality business, what can make it fun is that working together and coming together. There's oftentimes unique moments in the hospitality business where, for instance, if you have a huge convention and all 500 people check out in one day, we can have 100% of our housekeeping staff scheduled. But the reality is you don't schedule for 100 check-in and check-out. You don't have enough labor for that because that's not a normal day-to-day business, right? It's a unique, happens 10 times a year. So when those happen, that's when it becomes an all-hands call, and we all meet, and we from salespeople to different departments, we're all in there, and we're getting the room stripped down. But what a difference that teamwork and camaraderie makes. I can give you another example where our property, we got hit by a microburst. So it was a really small storm that took out about 30 power lines. This was just last month. Took out 30 power lines. It was 4:00 in the afternoon. Totally unique. We have 500 people in our ballroom ready for dinner, and the power is all down. And so now, the whole team has to come together and say, what are we going to do? So our culinary team had already had all the cold salads all made and everything ready. And our generator backups keep the refrigerators cold, but we couldn't cook hot food. So next thing you know, we're on the phones getting pizzas and getting subs and doing all this. And we have staff driving out to feed 500 people. You had staff driving out to 15 different places to pick up what they could. And everybody coming together. And I will tell you, one of the greatest experiences our guests had, because they knew it was out of our control. This power came down, and I've been around long enough to know I've seen maybe some places I would have just kind of washed our hands and said, oh, we're sorry, there's nothing we can do. But we had this can do spirit, and everybody just rallied around it and went out and got all this food. And it just turned out to be a phenomenal experience for the guests. And they were so appreciative, even though it wasn't the dinner that they were planning, that we rallied in it, and we couldn't have gotten better reviews and comments about it than that. So that also goes into the water of how to repeat these things and what to do when the unknown comes at you. And that's really what hospitality is about, is that can do spirit.
Perfection is definitely something all business owners and employees strive towards for their customers. But while good service is important, showing that the team cares and is listening to what customers want is actually more important than being perfect, because it allows customers to feel like they're getting personalized attention. Jessica explained that the humanity of the team shows in everything they did and was a part of what made her family's experience so special at Wild Horse Pass.
It doesn't have to be perfect to be 5 stars because, again, life isn't perfect. It was quiet. The service was great. It was relaxing. The food was good. The drinks were good. We all had a great time. The fireworks show literally was better than our local cities. So we would have missed out this year if it wasn't for them. So I just appreciate those good memories, and what they've done for us. So there's a lot more to our experience that I actually wrote in the review. I could have been a little bit more broader when we walked in, how the gentleman checking us in went above and beyond to make sure we could find our room. Everybody's doing their job and being kind and working hard. So even though it was hard to get drinks or food, I still had a nice time and they were still doing their job.
And that concludes our episode. I hope you enjoyed it and were able to take a thing or two away to implement in your own life. Whether it's a new idea that you can bring back to your business or a fresh perspective on how to be a positive influence as a consumer, we share these stories to inspire and create more meaningful connections in your local community.
Behind the review, dig deeper too. Behind the review, get all the news. Food, flowers, fixing, make business boom. Behind the review, dig deeper too.
This episode featured a conversation with Bill Hunter, the Director of Sales and Marketing at Sheraton Grand Wild Horse Pass, and Jessica S., a Yelp reviewer living in Arizona. Special thanks to Gia Khanna, who helped write this episode. To learn more about the story, check out the blog post. And you can find the show notes by going to yelp.com/behind the review. And don't forget to subscribe to the show on your favorite listening platform, so you get an alert each Thursday that we drop a new episode. To claim your own Yelp business page and start engaging with consumers, visit business.yelp.com. Our theme song is performed by Ali Schwartz and produced by Robbie G. of Messerol Sound.